Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook and also Fubo TV, because I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. Fubo
And
TV, though,
afterlife.
we're watching Altitude right now. That's Fubo TV's the way to do it. Go check them out. Fubo's great for watching hockey and all sorts of other television.
Fubo's great for watching hockey.
It is.
It is.
It does that job very,
agree.
very well.
Does the thing.
Just ask AJ.
True.
Megan used it one night too, right?
She has used it, yeah.
Everyone but me. I see how it is.
Jesse doesn't use it.
Does he not? Okay. Well, either way, Fubo's great. The Avs are down 1-0 to the Kraken in the series. It's game 2. Show up or go home time. I mean, I know it's not elimination, but
I'm tall.
it.
So we were talking after the game the other day. Somebody in chat was like, "Oh, well, the Avs lost a 2-0 series to Vegas, where they had that 2-0 lead." But last night on one of the broadcasts, they said that 86% of the time, the team that gets a 2-0 lead goes on to win the series.
Yep.
So that's a lot. of
Very
history.
much. Your odds are real good if you get up 2-0.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, you know, that I would say that's a pretty good motivating factor for not having some of your best and most important players play absolutely terribly tonight.
yeah.
I think even if nobody else raises the level of their game, if Josh Manson, Val Nichushkin, and Devon Taves just don't have brutally bad games.
You're having a competitive game at least.
You
then.
don't know how that game goes. There's no confidence that Seattle wins that game. There's no confidence Colorado wins that game. We have no idea what that looks like. Just those 3 guys, just having better games alone.
And that's where I think you can have a lot of confidence in Colorado tonight is these guys don't play games that badly 2 times in a row very often.
We've also said that a lot this year and then watched them go out and not play great games in a row.
I think that's true, but I don't think we've watched them play to the level that Devon Taves did the other night twice in a row.
I mean, that
maybe
was the
ever.
worst game he's had in Avs uniform.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a reasonable expectation that a significant portion of the Avs lineup should be able to raise their level some tonight. The question is how much, how high can they go, where can they get to, and what does Seattle look like on the other side? And that's where I want to start this conversation. I know last night, when you look at the end of the game, there were a lot of numbers in favor of the Avs, but a lot of that came from score effects. A lot of that came from the Avs playing from behind for a lot of the game.
Some of it also just came from the reality of they didn't allow very many quality chances against. It was just that the chances that they gave up
were egregiously quality.
They were. I mean, you're talking about Eli Tolvanen completely alone in front of the net for 2 shots at it, and then the goal in the third period where you turn it over behind your net and they just pass it out in front and they score like bang bang and you're done.
Yep.
You know, and the second goal is not even a very good scoring chance, to be honest with you. So,
Well, that's what, like, if you're looking at the shooting chart, too, take away those 2 that you're just talking about.
Yeah.
It's all from outside. It's fine.
It really, like, as poorly as we felt like the team played the other day in its puck management, defensively, it wasn't like Seattle cracked the code there.
No.
Yeah.
It was,
You know,
it was them
not.
taking advantage of the opportunities.
Exactly. It was
that they
very
got.
opportunistic. The Avs made life very easy for them in terms of scoring the goals. That is a thing that you have to change. If you make them earn it.
Yep.
Make them go out and earn it. They'll get a couple. Like they do every night.
but
But
you-
too quality of a team not to.
You want Seattle to get to those areas of the ice by their own willpower,
Right.
right? Not you serving a puck to the slot.
You want to make them beat you. Don't give it to them. Don't beat yourself. Should be the motto here for tonight for them.
Yep.
Just don't beat yourself, and we'll see how it goes.
And I think that's true in the offensive zone as well. You saw the Avs at times certainly have a penchant for cute no-look passes to nobody. At times not using their legs to get to the aggressive parts of the ice.
I mean,
No, go ahead.
I hope they start there, which is being aggressive to the right parts of the ice, meaning in front of the net. There was just too much passive things going on.
Yep.
And the behind the back stuff, fine. That's fine. It's and one hockey. If it's connecting and it's working, sure, go for it. But like last game,
Yeah,
be like, hey, why don't you guys make 2 passes in a row? Then we can start talking about and one hockey.
Yeah, well, and it was funny watching. We were before the pregame. We were watching some of the intermission stuff from the early games tonight, and they were previewing this game. They were showing montages of the Avs going offside, crediting Seattle's defense for forcing it. As you just watch the Avs skate in offside, and you're like, what are we talking about here? They're two defensemen. Yeah, they're like gapped up, and it's good and proper, and they're staying close, and it's fine. But give me a break with this.
Yeah, they're giving them the zone.
Yeah, like it was a montage of the Avs just of raw
It's not like
incompetence.
Seattle is standing them up at the blue line.
And forcing the puck to do. They weren't doing. Watching the Avs just beat themselves in that montage, you're like, this is the problem here.
Yep. I think that's exactly the right word. Don't let you beat yourselves, I guess. Because if Seattle goes out and beats the Avs, okay, they were the better team.
Yeah,
fine,
that's
whatever.
Great. Like, you accept that.
Yep.
But if you continue to make mistakes and issues where you feel like you could have played better, where Colorado could have done this, that, or the other thing to win the game, then that's frustrating. You can see where they're going to want more out of the series. But in my opinion, if they play good enough to where Seattle has to beat them, the Avs should win. On paper, they are the better hockey team.
Absolutely.
So, the lineup for tonight,
Yep.
pretty significantly different. So Jared Bednar not sitting back and saying they just need to play better.
Immediately firing the changes off.
He is pulling the levers that he has at his disposal to try and make changes.
Yep.
You have the MacKinnon, MacKinnon, Rodriguez first line. Thoughts?
Nico back on the second line is...
Thoughts about just that line in general?
I mean, I don't think Lecky and Mac is ever a bad thing.
True.
Erod, I don't know.
He's got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Nichushkin, Comfer, Rantanen in line 2. The one thing that we saw about MacKinnon and Rantanen being split up this year and finding the success was that it forced a different level of assertion out of Rantanen.
You get to say, hey, Miko, you got to go be the dude now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then game planning on the other side of it, not having the two superstars on your team on one line, they have to look at that, how they're going to basically be
they're
able
gonna have
to
to
play
pick their
D against
spot.
that, right? Yeah.
Vince Dunn and Adam Larson no longer can go up against Colorado's two best players. Unless they just want to double shift them, I guess. I don't know. It seems risky, but that's gonna force a Carson Soucy or a Jamie Alexiak with next to a Will Borgen or a Justin Schultz.
Yep.
Those are not great defensive players, so that's gonna be an interesting matchup to watch to see how. And we know Bednar doesn't really hunt those matchups very aggressively, so. However, Hackstall wants to deploy him, I guess. We'll see how that matchup goes.
Yeah, even down the lineup, Helm back in on that fourth line. I think you can kind of see the comfortable level of putting Helm and LOC together for Jared Bednar. They throw Nieto on that line too.
I also think that this Nieto Helm O'Connor thing, watching what Darren Helm did last year, with the physicality in the postseason and the speed, and that, I think that it's going to give them like a proper fourth line. It's going to give them a heavier element.
Yep.
It's going to give them a speedy element. I think that's going to take away some of what Seattle does well, where you start crossing out. Okay, they've got the advantage here. They've got the advantage here. That fourth line's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that fourth line from Colorado is pretty good. This new hook Eller Malgin thing is it's just kind of a monster.
It's the hodgepodge leftover guys.
Yeah, it is your island of misfit toys of if you're winning the game, you'll see more of them. If you're losing the game,
I hope they score. I hope they score right away.
I hope they do too, because I think Lars Eller's been pretty good as an Av. I think Alex Newhook was fine in game 1. I thought Dennis Malgin had a fine. I went back and watched it. I ended up agreeing with you, Blaze. I like Dennis Malgin's game.
Yeah.
And that stuff is great, but it starts with the top, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And
dude.
I don't just mean MacKinnon and Nico. If Val Nichushkin gets another puck net front, he's got to get something on it, right?
Make a competitive play, man.
Yeah.
If Grubauer makes a great stop, then a guy makes a great stop, but he just shuttled the puck into his pads and then fell down.
All the way around, his game just has to elevate.
Yeah.
Yep.
The first game was just unacceptable from him. Like, he is a big part of your offense and defense, and his play was just subpar all the way around last game.
Yep.
The defensive alignment tonight of Byron Makar, Taves, Girard. So I just want to talk about this just from an analytical standpoint real quick.
Go ahead.
The Taves Girard pairing this year was unbelievably good.
Yep.
It was like a secret weapon, very sneaky, like didn't get a ton of time together, but the time it had together was very, very good and effective. If that continues, That's a very good second pairing. And obviously, we've been talking about the possibility of Byram Makar. Byram needed to kind of ascend to that role. I don't.
And I would expect some mixing and matching.
This
but,
is as much about Taves descending after a really poor game one as Byram taking that jump up. But we saw those were the two best offensive defensemen from Colorado in game one were Byram and Makar
for sure.
And it is extremely important. We talk about the second line and all this other shit. Colorado's defense is extremely important in its activation and how it generates offense for the Avs.
Yep.
You talk about getting a 3-on-2, a 4-on-3. Those don't ever happen for the Avs. It's never three forwards.
It's always a
just
defenseman
breaking up the ice.
up.
It's always one of the defensemen creating that extra guy who jumps into the play. It is a very, very, very important piece of what the Avalanche do offensively to get that deactivating and generating on offense.
So let me ask you this. You're one game into the series. You're still in Colorado. Has there been enough time to adjust for Colorado to what Seattle's doing already, or does that really come into play after game two?
I mean, I think they're going to make some adjustments tonight. A lot of it, though, I think when you're looking at the tape from game one, it's more about what the Avs need to do versus the strategy of what they need to do against Seattle. I think you're right. Absolutely. After this game, I think you're going to start looking at a lot of tape and just see what's out there, right? What can you exploit from this team?
And I think that's where, when you get into a best of seven, where you start to look at Colorado has advantages that stack up again because their level of play has so far to go to match their best.
Yep.
And Seattle certainly has more to give than they did in game one.
Yep.
But I don't know that it's significantly more. And when you start to break down that tape, you start to look at the fact that the Avs should have a pretty serious advantage on special teams. They start to believe, you start to really see things stack up in their favor and say, the Avs should be building on these.
And look, again, Seattle deserves a lot of credit. They went out and won game one.
No, dude,
they're a good hockey team.
No taking any of that away.
They're here for a reason. But on paper, if both of these teams give you a 10 on any given night, the Avs 10 is just better than Seattle's 10.
Well, and that's where that talent advantage at the top of the roster comes in because the Avs have the Seattle Kraken might go their entire existence and never have a player the caliber of Cale Makar.
Yep.
That could be said for a lot of teams.
I'm aware. I mean, you look at there are some franchises where you look and you're like, have they ever had a guy that good?
Yeah.
Maybe one in 50 years. You know, like it's incredibly rare. That's not a knock on Seattle. That's just Cale Makar is a special talent who had a pretty good game one, but was not that guy. And you're talking about the guy that had 29 points in 20 games last postseason. There's a pretty good reason for that. Like, there's a
nightmare
lot
every shift last year.
There is a lot more to give for that guy to give, and if he starts to give it, Seattle's going to be in trouble.
Yep. And it's just where the Avs talent level is at. And part of that is converting their chances. Last night, or 2 nights ago, Avs hit 3 posts, I think it was, in total. Certainly 2.
I remember the Byram and MacKinnon.
I thought there was one other one, but maybe I'm misremembering. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Point is, it's not like the Avs were miles away from making that a competitive hockey game.
It's true. And I don't think Nathan MacKinnon meant any disrespect to Philip Grubauer when he said, what did you see from Grubauer? And he said, nothing. I think his answer, it's all about, we didn't beat him. We didn't finish. We didn't capitalize on our opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that he was personally involved in a 2-on-1 that just ended up in a pretty routine save from Grubauer because MacKinnon just shot it right into him.
Yep.
So I think they know. They know. They looked in the mirror and they said, all right, it's on us.
Yeah. That go out and earn your own destiny. I don't think it's that complicated. Blaze, what do we got on the betting lines tonight?
Well, we're going to run it back a little different here. I'm going puck line again with the Avs, plus 120. MacKinnon with the first goal, again, running in the back, plus 700. And then Makar with a power play goal, or point, excuse me. Half a point, plus 115.
Hey, I can't believe you're getting plus money on a Makar power play.
I'm going all pluses through these playoffs.
Well, this is, AJ, you started to get into this. I don't know if you fully got into it, about the Avs power play and how it needs to be better for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, just really, like, you're talking about the Kraken had a 21st ranked PK and a 21st ranked power play. You're not a very good special teams team.
Yeah.
They have to find their success at 5v5. The Avs have the advantage there. Even if they don't have, 5 power plays or whatever, you get 2 power plays. You got to score on one of those things. That is where you have an advantage. You should be the better team. And the Colorado's PK was awesome in game 1. They 6 minutes of PK time.
That was dominant.
And they allowed 1 scoring chance, 1 high danger chance in 6 minutes.
Yep.
You're talking about 4 shot attempts the entire time. Like they just weren't very good there. So Seattle could have better there. But again, you're looking at that is a scenario where when at their best across 82 games, they just weren't that good of a unit on either side of the puck.
Yep.
And Colorado even with all the problems with Colorado's PK this year, had a better PK on the year than Seattle did. Like that should be an advantage for them. Obviously, you really need to win kind of both of those battles tonight.
Yep.
But winning one of them puts you in a good position to win a game.
Absolutely.
I don't think you're asking for anything complicated out of Colorado tonight. I think you're just going out and saying, hey, play better than you did in game 1.
Yeah,
And if you do that, I think they have a good chance to win.
definitely.
We are brought to you by DraftKings, by the way. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account. You must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See the show notes down below for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And it's all void in Ohio. I think, Blaze, you kind of touched on this too. Keep it simple tonight, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and style on these guys. You don't have to go out and make the perfect play.
You don't need to win 6-0, man.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just need to play solid hockey,
Yeah.
right? Just go back to the basics, what works for you, move the puck around. You're the more talented team.
Well,
on
send
the
them
top
a
end.
message,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Let them know
Yeah.
this isn't going to be so. Let them know that in 4 games this year, they've not met the Avalanche yet.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the true Colorado Avalanche.
Yep. Hopefully tonight is the night that they can do that. We're roughly 10 minutes away from puck drop. I don't know. We're kind of at the mercy of the Tampa-Toronto game at this point. So we're going to wrap up this pregame show. We hope all of y'all enjoy the game. Join us for the watch along if that's your thing. We'll be doing it right here. And yeah, if not, join us for the postgame where we will break down whatever happens, win, lose, or draw. Super late super chat coming from Chad here, $20. He says, thanks for the best Colorado Avalanche sports coverage around. We appreciate you, Chad. And yeah, we'll talk to you all in a few minutes on the watch along.